Good day. It is what I'm calling bullshit winter again. We had winter, then we had spring, then we had second winter, then we had second spring, and now we're having bullshit winter. So about I don't know, 15 kilometers. If it was that much, we'd be dead. 15 centimeters of snow, and it's still coming down. Big fluffy stuff though, that doesn't usually add up to much. It is -5 right now, a bit of a wind chill. So I thought I would just try and get some walking in, despite the conditions, because there is a lot of ice underneath, because it started out as rain and then we've had snow for 2 days. So I'm just going to maybe stroll around the golf course, see what's going on there. I'm wearing my winter boots again. You have to blame me, I guess. I put them away twice and this is what happens. Where people haven't had a chance to shovel yet. The snow is about halfway up my shin, so that's deep. I think I measured the snow that was on top of my Jeep and it was about 6 inches, which I think works out to around 15 centimeters. This fluffy stuff has been falling all day. I don't know what kind of accumulation we'll get out of it. Let's take these trails here and take advantage of where people have gone through already, but it is tough slogging here. I wore my sunnies today, not because it's sunny out, but there is still quite a glare off the snow, so I didn't want to be walking around squinty-eyed. Yeah, there hasn't been much activity out here. Looks like one person went through with their dog. There's a lot of moisture underneath the snow too. When I was shoveling, it was pretty heavy. And we don't get heavy snow like this, or wet snow generally, that accumulates like this. And, you know, really, I don't think we get these kinds of dumps very often, but I've been in Alberta long enough to know that anything goes in the spring. And like I said, we've had 2 springs and 2 winters already, so what the heck. I forgot to start Run Keeper before I started walking. That's okay. Usually about this point I'm about a half a kilometer in, so I'll just add that to my mileage once I'm done for today. I don't imagine I'll go a great distance today, but I will burn a lot of energy in all of this snow. And there's that wind again. I didn't put in a lot of exercise miles this week. Most of it was the amount of exercise or steps I did at work. I did do a little walk Monday night just to walk over to the drugstore and get my lottery tickets and back. That was only a 2.5 kilometer walk. So I feel like I've been cheating here and not getting out enough. And then Wednesday night I had to work late. Tuesday, I don't think I have an excuse. And last night we were out at the dinner theater. Saw the play, I guess show even, called The Full Monty. And it had some amusing bits in it, but overall I didn't really enjoy it. It was kind of true to the Broadway play version of it, and not your typical dinner theater type show. So a little bit more serious acting. It had some comedy bits in it and stuff, but if you've seen the movie The Full Monty or the Broadway show, you'll know what I'm talking about, but it really didn't appeal to me that much. Some people seem to have it deeper in front of their house. The wind was blowing pretty good yesterday and it was drifting, and probably coming off that field over there. I know at the side of my house where it was blowing off the roof, it was at least knee deep. Shoveled off my deck just to get the weight off of it too. Like I said, there's a lot of moisture in the start of that snowfall, especially since it started out as rain, because it was spring that day. I get to break new trail out here. Nobody's walked out here since it really snowed a lot. Wind is really blowing the noise off the freeways or highways out to here too. Using my GoPro again today, mainly because it's more waterproof than my phone. I don't think the snow would oh, snow flakes went right down my throat. I don't think this snow would affect the camera too much with a lot of water. This would actually be quite pretty if it wasn't just about April. That being said, I've lived in this province for 60 years, so even what I mentioned earlier, anything goes this time of year. I was going to try and find somewhere more interesting to walk, even though I find this quite pretty. But that would mean driving out into the country probably, and those roads don't generally get plowed as quickly as in the city, especially some of the smaller country roads. So I'm doing an urban exploration here, and just the dragging my feet through the snow is working up quite the lather. Following somebody else's steps here, but it's almost easier just to make my own trail. It's a little bit more stumbly when you're not in sync with somebody else's pace. I do admire their gazebo over there, or cooking shack, whatever you want to call it. It's got their barbecue and smoker, and looks like even a wood-fired pizza oven. It's kind of neat. Not things you'd probably use very often, but nice to have. Okay, what do we got going on here? Mostly geese. I should say, no, mostly ducks, with a couple of gooses out there. So wherever the ducks went, they made their way back again. They're probably wondering why the hell they came back. Yeah, there's a dozen geese out there, and maybe a couple dozen ducks. There's always a pair of geese that I assume they nest in the acreage out behind our house. I think I mentioned that before, and they were back. Now, without capturing them and tagging them, I don't know if they're the same ones, but I'm sure they are. But they've disappeared for now, so I'm wondering if they're sitting out here somewhere for now. A lot more open water than they had 2 months ago when it nearly froze right over. I keep stepping off the sidewalk, just about rolling my ankle. I gotta be careful here. My shins are good and wet though from walking through deep snow. Well, somebody shoveled along this part of the city-owned sidewalk. That was nice of them. I had to climb a little hill back there, and that got my heart rate up. This might be the one lone house in the neighborhood that's still for sale. I don't even know how long it's been on the market. Maybe a couple weeks. I do not like that reddish pink door though. Okay, let's head towards the golf course and see where that takes us. See if anybody's been through there. If not, all the better, because like I said, it's almost easier to plow my own path than follow somebody else's like I am now. The snow isn't the real heavy stuff that we get sometimes in May. But you look at this spruce tree and just how it's hanging on there, drooping the branches. We've had lots of snowfalls in spring where, you know, you get leafy trees like this where the leaves are all out, and then you get a big dump of wet snow and it splits the trees and breaks branches and stuff. I see people have been traversing the golf course here, so we'll just follow their tracks. This is the part here that was underwater when the big melt was on. And the low spot there somebody walked through. This is frozen up again though. Did get down to -8 last night, so that is a temperature that'll refreeze things. If it hovers around 0, it doesn't freeze too much, but we are back into it. Again, I'm following somebody else's path here. I don't think this is the actual sidewalk. Now, when they plow this, I'm going to assume they have a GPS in their little plow so that they know where the sidewalk is, so that they're not digging up the turf. That seems like a great job. I wouldn't mind that job. Anybody out there knows how I would get that kind of job, let me know. I have come to the conclusion though that I think I'm pretty much done with my job now. The stress and anxiety that I'm suffering from these days is getting too much at my old age. Got to start thinking about my health and what that's doing to it. You know, a little bit of stress sometimes is a motivator, but you know, waking up at 3 in the morning in a anxiety sweat and not getting good sleep at night and all that for something that, like my wife says, you don't own the company. I know that, but there's still a level of professionalism and attention to doing your job that comes into play. Thinking I wouldn't mind a job just like with a rental car company, moving vehicles around, or you know, commercial company where they need trucks brought in and brought out of the city. That kind of thing does appeal to me. I love driving. Even car dealerships sometimes do that too, where they hire somebody to bring in a vehicle from one dealership to another. I could do that. This is pretty. Be really pretty if this was December. Been through here a few times before, but I am not sure where the actual path is, so I'm stuck following whoever made this trail. I think they're on the right track because I know we follow the trees over there. They don't like you walking on the fairways and stuff. Yeah, I gotta make my own trails. This is way easier than stumbling through somebody else's steps. I've only said it 3 or 4 times. Learn, buddy. Just about knee deep through here. Probably blew off the trees and drifted. Still snowing too. It's been snowing lightly like this all day. Apparently Whitemud Drive yesterday was just a big schmozzle. Glad I took the day off. Didn't have to go out much other than the dinner theater. And even the 3 hours we were in there, had to scrape the vehicle off for 10 minutes. Lots and lots of snow then. And then as we were going into the dinner theater, we noticed a vehicle that somebody must have accidentally hit a button on their remote or in their car, but they were long gone, but their hatch was wide open. I did the right thing and stole everything out of the back of her SUV. No, I didn't. I closed it for them. I'm telling you, a lot of seniors at the dinner theater. Not sure what that says about us, but the food is always good. Like I said, this play wasn't for me or this show, but it's a night out. My wife sort of enjoyed it. My ankle still isn't 100%. I'm beginning to think stress goes into a joint in my body and likes to fester there until the stress goes away. Even the ancient Chinese secret isn't fully helping. I need to do more stretching too, because my calves and hamstrings really tighten up, and if I don't, it's kind of given me a lot of pain, but also the pain you get in your heel. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head, but I do wear orthotics, but today I'm wearing my boots and I don't think my orthotics really fit in it, so we'll see if I'm limping around tonight. It's about 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon. Right now it's pretty quiet. The neighborhood was still quiet. People haven't come home from work, and also it's spring break, so a lot of the students are still they're at home and probably playing their video games instead of getting out and making a snowman, because that's what we did in my day. Creek is still flowing here, or the runoff, whatever it is. You kind of hear it. There's a culvert there. I remembered what the heel thing is. Plantar fasciitis, right? Or some people call it heel spurs. For me, it's just too much tension in my calves, and I just got to be more diligent about stretching everything out. I only seem to do it when it hurts. So it would have been a nice day to walk in the country. with this fluffy snow falling and everything. Wouldn't have that urban noise in the background. Mind you, lots of planes fly overhead there. Regardless, roads would probably be way too dicey to get out there. Only worth going out there if you live out there. Parkland County is pretty good though at clearing their roads, but I have seen some days where it takes them a while to get out there. And it's a big county, so they have a lot of roads to plow. Okay, this is my crossroads, which I've shown before. That way I go usually to the grocery store, that way I head home. And today I'm doing my usual walk through the golf course, this part of the golf course, through the tunnel, and then hop the fence towards home. This will probably only be a 5-kilometer walk today, but I'm certainly huffing and puffing because I'm plowing snow here. I know I keep saying that, but give me some credit for being out here plowing snow with my legs. I see they do have spikes here, so maybe that's partially how the plow driver knows where the trail is. Pretty soggy down here. I assume this was all underwater before the snow came. Not really sure if I'm on the path. I think so. I know I have to kind of hug these trees here. Oops, slippy slide. Hear lots of snow blowers going today, and leaf blowers. I think people had thought they could have put them away. I know I did. I'm still on the fence about getting a snowblower. Just something else to store 3 seasons of the year. I'm not gonna lie, this is a shit ton of snow. Like I said, halfway up my shins, sometimes right up to my knees. It's so snowy, even the magpies aren't saying anything. They just, one I practically bumped into. He was sitting up in the tree, and as I was walking by, there he was. Didn't seem to give 2 shits about me. Guess they are getting tamer around people. Okay, let's hit the tunnel, come out the other side and jump the fence and go onto the sidewalk. That icy spot right there caught me off guard and I slipped and fell on my ass, or my knee. Curse you, ice. I guess I need to speak more positively of it. If you speak positive of things, maybe they won't be out to get you. Oh, nobody's been through here. I'll leave the camera running while I scale this fence. You'll see how agile I am. Not bad at all. You should have seen the time I tried to squish myself through those planks. That was a bit of a rude awakening. Did I say we needed more moisture? I guess I have that kind of control over the weather. So here's what I'm hoping for. A rainy spring and a mild summer with no high temperatures to keep everything moist, get caught up from the years of drought. Even crossing that road took a bit of dexterity. Still pretty slippery on the side streets. And then you look at that lane there, that's all ice. Had my wife's Honda CR-V out the last couple days in this weather. And we were just doing some running around together, so it made sense to take her vehicle instead of my rattly old Jeep. And hers is all-wheel drive, but I still think my wore-out old Jeep handles and drives better in this kind of weather. It's got a lower center of gravity too, though, so I think it's a little bit more stable. Some of these SUVs just have a little bit more height than allows them to be stable. That's why anytime you see them in the ditch, they're usually on their roof. My pace on this walk is really going to suck. Oh well. I'm out here. I'm actually quite enjoying this wintry weather again. I wasn't enjoying it earlier when I was shoveling it off the driveway, but here we are. My wife and I were talking and reflecting on spring break, and this is kind of par for the course. It always seems like when the kids are off for spring break, the weather turns back into winter. More snowflakes down my throat. Again, I don't know why we're ever surprised when we get to dump of snow. This is unusual though, like knee-deep snow. I don't know what that guy was doing up there, but his driving capability is questionable. Practically went down the road sideways just to turn a corner. I was going to cheat and go to the other side of the road where people had shoveled in front of their houses, but I need to burn off some calories, so I'll keep trudging through knee-deep. Boy, walking on a shoveled sidewalk is like a burst of energy. These boots are hard on my feet though. Probably not the best footwear for comfort, but the best footwear for trying to stay out of the snow, keep your feet dry and warm. Maybe now, after this week, I can put them away. Do I dare? Even though I was walking through the neighborhood, all of the snow sure insulate a lot of noise. So I can almost give this a 10 for peace and quiet. Except for when cars drive by, but that's okay. They live here. It must be just warm enough at -5, or there's enough stored up energy in the cement that when you shovel it, it melts away the snow, and any new snow doesn't really stick to it. Well, we're just about home. Let's see how we did on this little walk. Okay, 5.25 kilometers. Not a very good pace. That was 1 hour and 24 minutes to do that 5 kilometers, so that was expected though. And between shoveling and walking, I did about 13,000 steps, so I think that's a pretty good day. Till the next one.